The objective of this device, called a Skyclaw, is to pick up blocks and sort them based on reflectivity and weight while also measuring stiffness. The Skyclaw has two position sensors, one for the X direction and one for the Y direction. It has two force sensors, one infrared proximity sensor, and an encoder to measure the angle of swing on the arm. I programmed an Arduino based on this hardware to achieve the design objective. I will now explain my computing algorithm. There are four basic functions in my code. Two of them tie the motion of the Skyclaw to the position sensors. Using if statements in a while loop, the code checks the position of the Skyclaw relative to the desired X and Y directions, and changes the direction of the motors accordingly. When it reaches the desired position, the motors are turned off. The next function used in the sequence checks for infrared reflectivity using the proximity sensor. I calibrated this function to return a 1 or a 0 depending on the raw infrared proximity measurement. After sensing infrared, the Skyclaw's next function is to pick up the block. This function uses a while loop to increment the servo angle until a certain force is reached or the angle reaches a certain maximum. The angle value is then used to return a 1 or a 0 for stiffness. I use the inertia of the blocks to distinguish between the different weights. After picking up the block and beginning travel in the X direction, the encoder is turned on and measures the angle of swing. During this function, the Skyclaw moves back and forth along the X direction. Of the several encoder readings, only the maximum reading for each block was returned. The heavier blocks returned a higher encoder value than the lighter blocks, a value that then returned a 1 or a 0 to determine weight. After the reflectivity, stiffness, and weight were all determined, the main function used if statements to place the blocks in the correct places. The 1s and 0s were then used as a printout in the serial print, and the design objective was achieved.